So we have some sweet things. I thought we'd start the show with something a little more savory. This is pork tenderloin roasted with onions and apples, and it is fantastic. So I've got a really big skillet, an oven-proof skillet, and I'm going to add to that some oil. And I want a smoking hot skillet just like I've got here. I'm going to season my pork tenderloins with salt and pepper. And then get them into the skillet. Now this is going to finish roasting in the oven, and that's why we need an oven-proof skillet if you have one. If you don't have one, cover the handle of your skillet with foil, and all of a sudden you've got an oven-proof skillet. Okay. So we want those to brown up quickly, and I'm going to get to work slicing up some apples. We've got some great apples here from the Oneida Orchard, just right near my house. Love to take Ireland out there in the fall and go pick apples. And they've got a little farm store where you can buy cider and other things. I'm going to be lazy and I'm not going to peel these. You certainly could peel them if you wanted to, so that's totally up to you. And that whole combination, pork and apples, I mean, it just works so well together. I actually did some research a while back and trying to figure out, you know, why the whole thing, the pork chops and applesauce thing, got started. And no, it didn't originate from the Brady Bunch, although I think that's where the whole thing got kind of famous. But the whole idea of eating fruit with hearty meats is something that they did back in the Middle Ages. And it's just a great way to, they used to do that because it would help digest the tough meats. So that's where they, you know, apples and cranberries and things like that, combining the meats with that, or they'd serve it with that, and that's what it all came around. And then it also really tastes good too. So just getting some nice color on our roast. Perfect. And at this point, I'm going to get that pork out of the skillet. So we just needed to brown it up quick, and we're going to finish it in the oven. And I'm going to get some more oil, our Jejora olive oil, in our skillet, and we're going to cook our onions and our apples a little bit. It's a little bit hot, so I'm going to pull it off the heat. We've got 2 onions that I'm going to start sauteing. Hey, I hope you'll come and see me Thursday night in Fond du Lac. Big ladies' night event there with a fashion show and all sorts of great food. And I'm doing a cooking demo, cooking up some fun new fall recipes. So come on out this Thursday night, September 19th. It's going to be a ton of fun. So I hope to see you there. So in goes our onion and our apples. And again, we're just going to start the cooking process here. We're going to finish this whole thing in the oven. So just for a few minutes. This is really like that perfect fall dinner. And once you get it going, it's actually pretty quick to fix, and it's going to look so pretty with all these great apples and the flavors of the apples and the onions. It's going to make a nice gravy, a nice sauce. Okay, now back to our tenderloin. I'm going to coat this tenderloin with some mustard. I'm using Dijon mustard. This is going to add a nice layer of flavor. And keep it, tenderloin is such a, pork tenderloin, so lean that this is just going to kind of make a nice outer coating. And it really works well, that Dijon mustard. It's milder, much more mild than the mustard you'd use on hot dogs. Now I'm going to do some fresh thyme. Just going to take some thyme leaves, and that's again that great kind of fall herb. Smells so good. If you don't have fresh, you could use dry, but use quite a bit less. Dried herbs are a lot stronger than the fresh herbs in most cases. So, all right. At this point, I'm going to take my pork roast, put them on top of the onions and the apples, and I'm going to finish cooking this in the oven. Depending on the size of your roast, this could take anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour, 35 minutes. You're looking for an internal temperature of 145. That's what you're looking for. Pick up one of those instant read meat thermometers. They really work nicely. And you don't need to cook pork forever and a day like you used to. So this has been roasting. Oh, wow. So we'll get this one back in the oven. And then it'll finish cooking. Okay, so now we're going to get the pork. Again, we're going to take it to a plate, and we're going to make, oh, Ann, how good does this look? We're going to make a nice little sauce. Ooh, that is hot. Ann reminded me, don't forget that handle was coming out of the oven. So remember, and I didn't remember. So, okay, at this point, we've got that real hot handle, so I'm going to use a pot holder, actually. Dry rag, thank you. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock. There's these great brown bits from when we browned the pork and some great flavor. And I get questions all the time, how do you keep pork from drying out and keep it nice and juicy? And as I mentioned, it is such a lean cut of meat that there are a few ways that you can keep it nice and tender and moist. One, if you're grilling it, marinate it. That's key because it is so lean and it adds some nice flavor. Two, as I mentioned, don't overcook it. We'd have to cook that pork, it seemed like forever and ever and ever, and it turned into shoe leather. It was so tough and dry. So 145 is the magic number. You pull it at 145 and let it rest. In fact, I need to be letting this rest right now. Cover it with foil, let it rest. Keep the juices before you slice it. And then I like to serve some sort of sauce with pork because it does tend to be a little bit drier anyway. Then if you've got the sauce, there you go, you're all covered. So this, again, we're just taking the brown bits at the bottom of the pan here, combined with the apples and the onions, a little bit of chicken stock. I'm going to do a little bit more fresh thyme. So we've got thyme on the pork, but we're just going to put this in the last minute, so it really will be a nice fresh flavor. You could smell this at home between the apples and the pork and the onion and the thyme, and ooh, really smells fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to turn the heat off, and this is something that I've learned from a lot of my chef friends, to kind of just at the very end richen the sauce with some butter. This is cold butter that we just took out of the fridge. I'm going to take a whisk, remove it from the heat. Remember that handle is hot. And this is just going to bring the sauce together without adding any flour. You can already see it just kind of tightening up, and then it's, of course, got that great flavor. So there you go. Roasted pork tenderloin. Might throw a little more stock in there. Just depends how thick you want it. And you slice that up. I'm going to take some of these apples and the onions. Just kind of spoon that over. You can garnish with a little bit of fresh or thyme or parsley. And just bring it to the table. Nice salad and one of our apple desserts that we're going to be making, and you've got yourself really a wonderful fall meal. So, so good. And there you go. We'll put the recipe on our website, and we've got some more fun, delicious apple recipes coming up.